All right, hot Chelle Rae. How are you guys?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm very well. What time is it where you guys are?
It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon where I am, and 5 o'clock
Depends
where
on
they
depends who you
Oh,
talk to.
okay. So you guys are split up at the moment. Who's where? Tell me.
So Jamie and I
are.
are in Nashville, and then
Yep.
Ryan's in Los Angeles.
Oh, very nice. Okay. All right. I'm not really across my US time zones. I won't lie to you, but it's a solid 8 a.m. where I am. So starting the day, your future is looking good. I can tell you from tomorrow. So
Perfect.
Well, that
that's
is great. That is great news.
it's like so heartwarming to see that you guys are releasing new music again, back on the road. Particularly after, last year you put out Tangerine and it's been devastating to see that you can't play those tracks. But how does it feel now that the band's properly, back together and the gears are chugging along? Does it feel like a whole new project, or is it kind of like the good old days?
Now it feels very familiar because we are all such good friends and have spent so much time together for the last 16 years. But it also feels brand new because the team we work with now is all new from the original days of stuff. The way we work, the way we write. Jamie's been a huge part of writing these new songs since December 2019, maybe December 18. It's just really cool and a lot more love and like joy. And I think when you first get success, you always run into like a little bit of the I want control, or like I want to say this, or I want to pick the video treatment, or like, whatever.
Mm.
I want the merchandise to be my color instead of your color. In a fun way, but still, I think this time around we've gotten so much more like at ease and chill with each other and are just really loving making music together.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, okay. So life would have been really crazy when you were blowing up with like Tonight, and I Like It Like That. Paint me a picture of that. Was it kind of hard to have like, there would have been a release of control over what your image was, and you were touring with some like really amazing names. Paint me a picture of life at the peak of those hits.
I mean, it honestly, it's the definition of a blur. Like,
Mm.
honestly, like I have trouble sometimes even remembering which trip to Australia I was on when I did what at where, because things were moving so quickly. And I mean, we were on a plane, 6 days a week going somewhere new, or on a bus. And it honestly, like, it was happening so fast that it's hard to like, it's hard to like quantify where certain things happened. But it is an incredible experience. I mean, it's hands down one of the greatest rides ever.
Oh yeah, 100%. Do you guys think that you were physically and mentally ready for it at the time?
I don't know
Boy, I
if
think
we could ever be
all
ready.
different.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think we were born ready. We thought we were ready the second we started this band. And then as it happens, you just realize you're not, and you figure it out. And I think that everyone's probably the same in that regard, because everything moves so weirdly fluid in entertainment that, you're making art and you don't know if it's going to be this song that reacts or this one. And so you're always ready to just bend and like morph as your career does.
Do you think there was like a defining day when you started to realize like songs were taking off? Was it a sort of a penny drop moment, or was it a really sort of organic growth?
I know for me, there was a moment we were on tour with a band called We the Kings, and like it was about halfway through the tour, and the song had been out for maybe 2.5, 3 months, and we were playing it, and I took my in-ear out and I realized that literally everyone in the room was singing the song. And so I was like, oh man, like this is crazy. This is not normal. So, I mean, for me, that was definitely a big moment, but I don't know if there was one particular moment that was just like, all right, we've arrived or something, you know.
I definitely agree with you. The We the Kings tour, when we were opening and like inadvertently became like a headliner in the middle of the tour, was a seriously defining moment career-wise. But the other one for me was when we started getting viral videos of babies dancing to the song and singing it. I was like, and that was very early on. I was like, oh my gosh, like 2 and 3 year olds are able to sing this song. This is gonna go. Like, this is for sure gonna go.
Yeah, you know what? I actually remembered maybe yesterday or the day before. I totally spaced on what year that we were able to play the New Year's like Manhattan Times Square ball drop concert. And I thought it was going into 2013, but I looked it up and it was the end of 2011, which means Tonight Tonight had been a hit as recently as August. And somehow life moved fast enough where we were playing New Year's Eve by December. And we're on stage with like, you know, we're watching this on a tiny little riser with Bieber and Pitbull and us. And that was
crazy.
a crazy moment to like see the sea of people in Times Square, but not have to be stuck in it and have a police escort through the whole city. And it was one of the coolest nights for sure.
That's hectic how fast that would have moved for you guys. Are you guys good at celebrating success then? Are you good at reflecting like straight after those events and being like, damn, that was really cool? Or is it just such a tunnel that it keeps on going?
I would like to say we're really good at celebrating everything that we have succeed. I don't know if we are good at realizing what level of success we're having, but we try to celebrate everything.
Good. Oh, that's good to hear. Okay, so you guys went on hiatus because your music was kind of legally bound. Did that force you into that hiatus, or was it also a decision on your behalf?
First of all, thank you for just knowing that in general and not just asking. That's like huge.
I do my research.
Yeah. Nash, you want to take it?
Yeah, so it's weird because a lot of artists will be dropped by a label that doesn't want to work with them anymore. A lot of artists want to leave a label and they will not drop them and they'll keep them for 9 years and lock up their music. We had a really strange departure. They called us and I remember getting the call. I was in a session with Rachel Platten who had like Fight Song, and it was right before that became a hit. So I didn't know if she was ever going to do anything, and I had to leave the room to take a call that our label was willing to put out another single or let us off. And it was the strangest call we've ever had to like make a decision on. But to us, we didn't want to be bound by squashing our creativity. So we opted, we're like, all right, if you don't want to put the album out, you just want to do a single, you're not that invested, we'd rather make music freely at some point. And so we got off the label only to find that every song for the last 2 years that we'd written for our next album that never came out was legally tied up. So we're like, oh, we'd have to start from scratch. That sounds exhausting. Let's just like chill, take a break, you know, investigate some other things.
And also
all the while
we were
like
legally bound to management as well. So we were kind of like a little bit imprisoned.
What's that sort of realization when you're like, wow, everything I've worked for the past 2 years plus is now worthless in that sense? Was that really hard to reconcile?
Yes. I think that's probably one of the hardest things art-wise I've ever had to like go through. And I think the guys can say the same. Like it's exhausting to be going a million miles an hour, you know, like you were asking earlier, like, you know, what's it like when you're in it? It's like you're doing that the whole time and you're making music the whole time in any free moment you have. And then to get to a point where it's like the deal is we put out one more single and this music's off the table, or we can leave now and try to go do something else. It was mentally like so taxing. But at the same time, you know, if you look on the bright side, it was also a tremendous education for us. So we learned a massive amount about deals and songs and the right things to do, and it's sort of put us in this position now to kind of be our own boss and like really, you know, not get into that mental anguish situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, that's such a good takeaway from it, because at the time, obviously, you'd have been quite young and had a lot of trust in these teams, which is just so devastating to see them kind of profit off your back. All right, so you guys, during your time away from Hot Chelle Rae, what did you guys learn about your individual strengths then?
You know, it was interesting because, I mean, I wrote one song with Ryan in Nashville for like country music during that time, but Jamie and Ryan wrote their entire, or Ryan's entire solo album together with our guitar tech who had toured the world with us, who also produced our song Too Much with us. So during the time off, we were really tight. We hung out a ton. We would write on, you know, random songs for other artists. We would take vacations and trips. We would hang out every free moment. So the relationships actually probably got stronger, and we were able to work on our friendships without any question of like, is this because we're in a band? Because we didn't have to be together. We got to be together.
Oh, that's really nice.
I definitely became much closer with Nash. And like, I remember during doing the country album that Jamie and I did on Big Machine, they pushed me super hard to say that we were on hiatus and that the band was broken up and that, you know, it kind of like dissolved. And I refused like to do that the entire time. Every press like junket, they always wanted me to say that like I was done with pop and done with Nash and Jamie and it's country music from here on out. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that, because these guys are like, they're not just bandmates at this point, they're brothers. And like, I agree. Like, I think we actually strengthened our friendships during that time.
And I guess you can never say never, you know, like that would have been such a detriment to you for closing those doors. So who was the one who first, oh, sorry, no, continue.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, who was the one who first picked up the phone then and said, boys, like getting the band back together, and I actually mean it. Like, let's take another shot. Because obviously I reckon it would have always been in conversation, but who was the one to actually be like, no, we should commit?
On the previous albums.
Mm-hmm.
It was a combination of me and Ryan writing a song together for fun, like not really for any purpose. And it sounded like we couldn't imagine somebody besides Hot Chelle Rae being the artist on it.
Yeah.
And then we wrote a song with Jamie that was just really easy and natural and felt great. And we're like, okay, so now we're kind of like starting to roll into writing songs together on accident. And then the thing that topped it off was going to Japan. Ryan had to keep this a secret from his record label at the time because he wasn't allowed to like be promoting Hot Chelle Rae. We went to Japan to do a secret acoustic show at like noon at a club of 200-300 people. And it sold out 2 days in a row. We played like 3 songs every day. Like it was really chill. And watching these rooms fill up without actually advertising to the public was so exciting. We're like, oh my gosh, I think we need to reinvestigate this and, you know, fire the band back up for real, because it's way too fun. And, you know, traveling across the entire world to go somewhere and seeing that love was so energizing to the project.
Yeah, it was super apparent that Nash and I, like, after those shows, we were like, oh my gosh, man, I miss playing shows with you. Holy crap. Like this isn't a hired country band, as fun as that was. Like, this is like somebody I legitimately like miss playing shows with.
Look, that's like a little love letter. All right, wow. So you guys
Bundle
have
of
a
love
really
in
avid...
here.
Guys, just bring it in. Okay, so do you guys have a really avid fan base in Japan then?
You know, I think that Australia, Japan, and South America are the like top places in the world for us. We love being in those places, but the fans, like, I mean, they show us so much love live. They go off like crazy. And absolutely, like in my personal top 3. I'm sure the guys would likely agree. But yeah, you just find these places that resonate with your music a lot wilder or louder, even if everyone in the world loves it just as much. Like the actions of the fans there when you're performing to them are so much fun to like feel and get to be in front of.
Yeah, we're like hyper aware that we kind of make party music, and Australians definitely get down. So when we got there, we were like, oh my gosh, this is the energy. Like we didn't even know that we were like funneling this energy into our music, but like these are our people.
And we toured actually before Tonight even really blew up in Australia, and we got that same energy pre anyone ever knowing about us at all. So
Yeah.
it's something about the fans and the people.
We're just on the pulse over here. We're so starved,
you know,
of external
you're just better.
I have to say, when we were there touring, every single time, there was always like 1 or 2 mega freaking smashes that were being played on Australian radio first and didn't land on our side of the world until we got back.
Oh, damn. Wow. Goes to show about our programming then. And you guys even had 5 Seconds of Summer opening for you guys. That's huge.
Yeah.
Is that
was
weird?
so fun. Those guys are still homies of ours. Like it was so much fun to be on the road with, you know, a bunch of kind of 15-year-olds that had never done it and see their excitement. Because it was probably our 3rd Australian tour. We did Boys Like Girls, Taylor Swift for a solid month, and then our own tour with 5 Seconds opening for us for a solid month. And so we were like in love with it, but it wasn't our first time. And seeing that excitement was really cool to remember and be like, oh my gosh, this is crazier than it feels like. And
I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a show that we did with them, and after the show we like went to this party, and I remember them getting there and I was like, they're like 15, like can they even be here?
Jamie was like 16 and a half, so he was way
I was
more
like
mature.
18 to be fair, but
No, Jamie, I have a picture from that night. I do.
and I was literally like, they're so young, but it was fine.
I'll tell you what's even weirder is I'm obviously not going to say where I live, but like 2 of the dudes are my freaking neighbors. I see them every day when I run. That's the weirdest part.
Do you guys say hi?
Guys,
oh yeah, all the time.
Nice. Oh, good.
Guys, this is very important. I don't know if you know that I have a real life Instagram filter coming through the sky at me. It's like golden hour.
Wow, you're
I'm
almost
getting,
in
like,
a
the blind
cage.
I'm in a prison.
You're in a prison cell. You're trapped again.
They keep me in here.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, would it not?
It would be.
Just kidding.
Yeah, what's the tea there, guys? Tell me more.
I haven't been in jail. We'll just say that.
Nash hasn't. He really hasn't.
Nash is the only member of Hot Chelle Rae who has not been to jail.
Yep.
It's fine.
Oh my god. All right.
No murder, though.
We won't get you in any hot water. All right, well, we should probably talk about your latest single, Do the Damn Thing, with Cord and Levi. Tell me about first where this song began.
Well, I think the Cord actually initiated the idea of like what kind of song or what sound to make. He came in, he was like, what if we did like a 60s soul R&B, like, you know, the classic vintage chord progression. And I started playing like 20 songs in that decade had the same exact music. I'm like, all right, it was like this type of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like making a drum beat on the computer that I didn't play for anybody yet. And I like kept it muted until we were getting to like the chorus. And I was like, it looks like it's going to sound like I want it to. We'll see. And it was like this very subdued verse. And somehow we got the chorus to be like high energy before even having the production done. Yeah. And it's such a thing that we say and that people say. And it's just like, it just feels so good to start with like this, da, 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 and then go off and really like have a bop when the chorus drops on them.
Well, that's what the beauty, I think, of most of your songwriting is that at the end of it, it's like very simple, but such like strong earworms. Like you can hear that across all your music, right?
We aim for that every single time, for sure.
We appreciate that.
And then we got Cord being weird and being like, can I turn on auto-tune and make a weird voice at the end of the chorus and be like, do the damn thing, do the damn thing.
Yeah.
And then Jamie was like, what if we were like, do the damn thing instead? And we just kept both of them in there and we're like, all right, cool. Sounds great, is great, love it.
Go spice it up, go spice it up. Nash, what is it like for you to bring Cord into this sort of project?
It is super dope because we've worked on so much music together. And Jamie has stayed with him a million times and like, you know, worked on and listened to music and played around the studio till 4 or 5 a.m. But to do an actual song that we're all on together on the recording of is really, really exciting. And it fit super well, super naturally. He didn't even get to be in the video, sadly, because he's in Mexico shooting a TV show. And like locked away in this no Wi-Fi land of quarantine. But he killed it. His verse is super fun, and it like, you know, fit our vibe great for this record.
Are both of your families, guys, quite creative?
Yeah, some of the most creative families I know. I mean, all of our family, with the exception of Jamie and I's younger sister, like everyone's in music. Our parents are both country songwriters and pop songwriters. And Nash's family his dad is an incredible artist. Mom was a hairdresser. I mean, there's so much. His youngest sister is like one of the best singers I've heard in forever. I mean, it's just his middle sister Summer is an incredible writer. I mean, it's such a creative bunch of people. You can't leave Nash's house without like performing a cover song to walk out the door. Like it's
that literally used to be a thing that you'd have to do to leave.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the Nashville Von Traps or something.
Oh
yeah, it was. I was like, here's Wonderwall. Well, I'm out of here.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
but
wow.
it's awesome. Everyone's always working on something, and the energy's always amazing, and it's energizing to get to hang out with anybody in either one of the families.
That would have been really good growing up as well, seeing that as like a possible career that you can actually do.
Yeah, it was amazing. You never were told that we had to go to college. We were never told that, you know, this is how it was going to be, or we needed a backup plan. It was always incredibly supported and encouraged. And it's lovely to still have that sort of encouragement from your parents.
All right, what else is coming up for Chelle Rae? What's on the horizon?
Well, we just dropped the video for Do the Damn Thing today, so that's definitely big. We get to cruise around LA in old throwback 60s Bronco, and Haha Tequila, the Chainsmokers tequila, kind of hooked us up and supplied us with a bunch of tequila. And we didn't drink and drive, but we did drink copious amounts of Haha and cruise around in a Bronco and film a video. And I think past that, we're sort of figuring out the lay of the land, since COVID's sort of feeling like it's winding down for us a little bit here. Everyone's vaccinated in the band, and most people I know are. And I think touring is on the horizon. So for us, it's kind of figuring out where that's going to be. Maybe it's going to be in Australia first. We'll see. But
that'd be sick.
I mean, it would be sick, but we're kind of planning it.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed then. But hopefully we can get our vax rollout smooth lined over here, and we can have international artists. That'd be sick.
We would love it. We miss it so much.
We've got festivals happening over here, so plan for that.
We've heard. Very ready to be a part of some Australia festivals and shows, because it's been, gosh, I don't know how long, but like even 6 months would be way too long. So we're chomping at the bit to get back. At
this point, festivals sound like Christmas, so we're so ready for it.
Hell yeah, let's make it happen, guys. It was so lovely to meet you, and thank you for chatting with me today.
Thank you for getting up.
Thank you.
Here.